Hey guys, Freelio here with some more information from BlizzCon 2011. This time it's on the class, item, and professions Q&A. So basically, people ask questions on what's going on with the classes and items and professions, and the professionals from Blizzard answered them accordingly. Now for this, I'm going to go through the questions and answers that were said during BlizzCon during this panel. So hopefully you might learn something from this, maybe you won't, but let's get right on down to it. Now note that there will probably be quite a bit going on here, as it was an hour-long panel. First question. Shadow Priests seem to be going to a more resource-based system. Is that true? Yes, kinda true. Shadow Orbs are going to be like a secondary resource system. That's our current thought. Are you satisfied with the state of healing in PvP? Balancing PvE and PvP healing is a big challenge. It's more about decision making and quick swapping. We got there in the beginning of Cataclysm, but now we're seeing a lot of different comps with gear and changes, and that changes things. It's something we talk about all the time, and I don't think we've solved the problem yet. Something we're still working on. Active tanking debuffs on the new trees. How does that play into the active tanking model? We've made it more like the DK active tanking. You use resources to keep yourself alive instead of just generate threat. Currently, you can get up to 130 resources, like rogues. Any plans to continue this in Mists of Pandaria? It fits nicely into something like rogues, but overall, it's not something that fits nicely into the current design. It could show up in other places, though. I have 10 classes. 11th slot? Ghostcrawler answers this one. I've heard that question so many times. It's totally understandable. We talk about it all the time. No idea if we can do it yet. One idea is keeping a cap on the max number of characters, but removing limits on individual realms. No promises, though. Event items become bind to account? Event items are expensive to be bind to account, so it might not happen. Other old items are getting resurrected. Can Feral Druids get some double fist weapon love? Bonus questions. New enchant drops? Druid specs already have 4 specs. Monks will compete with more with rogues for weapons. Not really talking about dual-wielding druids. No plans for new enchant drops. Faction-specific legendary? Legendary items are looked at case-by-case basis. If the story supports it, and we find a cool, interesting item possibility, then we'd have to think about it very carefully. Everything is always possible. DK tanks. We're in a bad place. Problems with avoidance working against mastery, talents, abilities not always working, and the 2P set bonus based on, I'm not sure exactly what this is, IMM-DEM. I don't know, but for you Death Knights who know that. And being on low health. And when healers doing their jobs right, we don't have a set bonus. What are you guys doing to fix this? Can we get a new 2-piece set bonus? One problem we had is, they've got spike damage, which means less healing needed in some cases. We're increasing survivability bonuses for Death Knights. Part of the Death Knight experience is being brought really low to doing awesome things to save yourself, to bring yourself from 20% to 100%. Wondering about Eclipse. Better than it's ever been. Still, periods of time where boomkins can be really low on damage and then being in solar when we need to do AoE. In 5.0, Hurricanes will have an arcane version, meaning no waiting for AoE. Otherwise, there's a balance between Eclipse, and we like the way it's working. Gargoyles have a melee attack, but the range is so much better. Gargoyle is designed to be ranged. Unholy Death Knight is a less successful spec. We're not going to do a disruptive change right now. But in 5.0, we're going to work to make sure there's more parity to the value of the secondary stats. Nogginfogger Elixir. Why can I mount while transformed as a skeleton? Animation doesn't support every transformation, so we just block everything because it'd have just create hundreds of bugs. Well, that was a hard one. Is there any plan on making PvE solo for Holy Priests and Disc? It's easier to level as Holy now than it was in Classic. Not a priority to make Holy a DPS spec. This guy is rambling and arguing with developers now. We're not going to live blog this, basically switch to Shadow to do DPS. So, Apparently somebody complained about the fact that they're okay with Holy not being a DPS spec, and he got mad at it. But when you think about it, you do have a DPS spec. Do it. A lot of tanks have to go DPS spec, so anyway. From our Chase Christian, what are you going to do with rogues to give them some utility? We have some things given to rogues that are useful, like stuns. We're not going to give everyone everything that makes rogues awesome and rogues rogues. New talent system looks fun. Still looks difficult to balance. Still going to have someone crunch numbers to figure out what's best. A lot of talents don't do more damage or healing. A lot of them are not quantifiable and change numbers. So I don't agree with your premise. I don't see that as happening for most of them. You can lose and gain a transformation. Why can't that happen with Noggin Fogger? Apparently they're really concerned with Noggin Fogger. One of the things that make consumables fun is that they go away. If they were just permanent, things that you kept around and you'd lose the impact as to what the transformation is. We've given you a warning when you're about to lose them, but we just don't want you to have these everywhere. Arch has been ignored, or let's see. I don't know, but Arc has been ignored other than a few added things. Going to see more with it, like cooldowns, not to be nuts on Arc vanity items. They're unpredictable, and that's cool. We're looking for a lot of ways to sex it up and make it more fun. Possibilities, random encounters with something like, oh, that is archaeology. Something like a mummy, flare gun that pops up a ladder and takes you to a random dig site. Just possibilities, no promises. Next up, we have a question of, as a tank druid, I can swap to cat and do viable DPS. In the future, keeping hybridization so I can do that? You're definitely going to be losing that DPS. Other tanks can't do it, and you won't be able to do it either. Tanks are not going to have a rep or shred, and cats are not going to have survival increases. Restokin is up. AoE heal is mindlessly spamming some hots. Any plans to not do this? Wild Mushroom healing type spell, but overall we think the Resto Druid healing kit is good. Some of the healing playstyles where mindless AoE healing happens on the encounter design. Tier 13 4-piece bear bonus. I get you don't want cats to get it, but it restricts ability to provide DPS to raid. If we didn't do something like that, we'd have to change the bonus completely. Are we getting new spells at 85, 90? What are the mage spells? Ghost Crawler fields this one. We want to clean up the rotation and not bury players under a pile of spells. We're looking at introducing a new spell at 87. We don't know yet what the mage one will be. Can we get some tank love for a legendary? It's something we're looking at. The story and the kit have to fit. I'd love to see an orange shield, says Ghostcrawler. Arcane Mage Mastery created possibility for managing resource. We were promised this toolkit to manage our mana, but all we got was Arcane Blast, and clearing our Arcane Blast stack. Are we going to get anything else to help us? Not to be a 2-button wonders. We're not happy with Arcane Barrage right now. Details coming out in the near future. Decided to wait until 5.0 instead of 4.3. Can you allow Shadow Priests to have their Shadow Form Shroud while mounted? We have a new minor glyph for Shadow Priests that removes the alpha so you can see your gear. We're working our way there. We're over halfway done. Question. Death Knight Tier 13? Answer. I've seen it. It's awesome. You guys will see it soon. Interesting. So previous tiers of Death Knight gear before DKs came into existence. In other words, they're asking, will they put in previous tiers for Death Knights? We'd like to, but that's art and it takes a long time to do. Ghostcrawler says, it's not that we don't like throwing money at these problems, but we don't have to do old Death Knight tiers when we can get new content out. Your panda poster art is dual-wielding polearms. The artist can do a lot of things that we can't. Hunter Epic questline coming back? It's something we're thinking about, looking at, considering. If we do, we want the quality to be what you remember, not just zap the numbers up to 85. Engineering has gotten some cool stuff in the past, but they're worthless now. more powerful versions of those items, or more fun to use, like Freeze Ray or an underwater mount? Yes, we want them to be cool, but don't want everyone to switch to engineering, because the items are tool cool, or too cool. This brings up a very good point of Dragons of Abyss. Almost every single member decided to go engineering at one point in time, just so they had the speed boost. Question: Hunters, eliminating use of melee weapons. Can you equip them for show? Any way we can get some mace love? No plans for that. Engineering, what happened? It was so exciting for one patch, then it seems like it's just forgotten about. There was a reaction of engineering sucks, then the reaction of engineering was too good. There's been a swing there. We want to nail down this profession skill, because it could be its own class if we let it get away from us. I don't want to give away examples right now that may or may not happen. There's going to be a lot of focus on it this time, in Mists of Pandaria. Get on the forums and make that giant post again, let us know. Thanks for the priest talent that lets us swap my health with my guild leader and kill him many times. There's lots of laughs and applause at this one. Now, actual question. How is monk healing going to work? When you go into the healer stance, chi will change to mana, and you'll use mana for your healing spells. As for how healing works, think proximity. Very mobile, you're in proximity of people healing. You can also DPS on boss, place statues around the raid, and time your DPS on the boss to your statues, and time your DPS with the boss on your statues to emit healing near them. There we go. It was a major typo. So, range gets a statue, DPS boss, healing the range. Level 90 Shaman talents. Put down 3 totems at once. Applied to fire stones? Or fire totems? Not going to apply to fire totems. Too big of a DPS increase. Any discussion of monks using melee cloth? We don't want to introduce one spec that gets only one item, like Holy Paladins getting plate intellect gear. Non-combat pets getting named. Any chance for Locks naming their demons? Locks are different from hunters, and we like that. We did talk about going to a lock to reset the name if you don't like it. Removing hunter melee weapons. We're going to lose a lot of stats. How are we going to get the DPS back? Well, your bows and guns will be buffed. Can you bring back the old perfect cuts and the procs, the rare procs? If we allowed perfects of blues, then no one would use the blues. I don't know if there's an easy solution to making every crafter feel wanted other than daily cooldowns or whatnot. BOP Chaos Orbs are a good way. Maybe we should do something like that for Jewel Crafters this time. Monk is amazing. With removal of auto attack, can we use this with other classes? If so, hunters are going to be very confused. Auto attack removal was very controversial. Some think, even around the office, we might give it back. We're not sure. Ghostcrawler states, the downside of lack of auto attack is that if a monkey has 5 health left, you can just smack the monkey. You don't have to wait until you get an attack up first. So that's it for the entire panel, guys. That was the class, item, and professions Q&A. There will be one more video, which is just an open Q&A from BlizzCon. I will limit that down to just WoW questions if I can, and we will see how that goes. Although I think that might have been just a World of Warcraft open Q&A. We'll see, I haven't completely read over it yet. So do look forward to that video, guys, and then that will be it for the BlizzCon World of Warcraft videos. I hope you enjoy the images in the background. Sorry some of them do repeat. There's not a whole lot of images right now, but they are all official. So again, guys, thanks for watching. Please be sure to thumbs up and subscribe, and check out the previous BlizzCon 2011 videos, and be sure to look forward to the upcoming ones. There should only be one more after this, however.